It's almost unbelievable when you stop and think about it.
What's that?
The same iPhone we use every day. It's showing up more and more as like a vital tool in really demanding industries.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're seeing this fascinating consumerization of IT trend play out.
Exactly. Where the tech from our personal lives
Oh.
tackles some surprisingly tough jobs.
Crucially, what we're seeing is a device, originally made for personal stuff, calls, photos, games, now being picked up by industrial mobile workers.
Right. The people on the ground, manufacturing, logistics, construction, energy.
Those kinds of essential sectors, yeah.
And that's exactly what this deep dive is all about today. We're going to explore how Apple iPhones are actually being used in these, well, challenging environments.
Yeah.
We've been looking at an analysis, sort of digging into what the iPhone offers straight out of the box,
Okay.
the extra tech that boosts its capabilities, and, the strategic thinking businesses are doing to integrate it.
So the big question is how this sleek, user-friendly device actually holds up in the rough and tumble of industrial work.
That's the core question, yeah. How does it cope?
And if you think bigger picture, this isn't just about a new gadget somewhere different.
No.
It's really about how consumer tech advancements are offering solutions to, well, long-standing industrial problems.
That's a great point.
The fact that people already know how to use an iPhone, that familiarity can make adopting new tech in these fields much, much easier.
And that's exactly what we want to unpack for you. We want to give you a really clear picture of the kind of unexpected ways iPhones are boosting how things get done.
Better productivity, safety, efficiency.
Exactly. In industries you might not immediately connect with Apple, right? We'll skip the super technical jargon, focus on those aha moments, and the practical side.
So what is it about a consumer device like the iPhone? What fundamental strengths make it attractive for these tough industrial contexts?
Okay, good question. Let's start with how companies actually get these phones to workers and manage them,
Mm,
at scale.
right. You're talking about tools like Apple Business Manager, ABM, and Mobile Device Management Systems, MDMs.
Yeah, those tools that simplify handling, like a whole fleet of iPhones.
And what's really notable here is zero-touch deployment. It's a game changer.
Zero touch. So, like, they ship it straight to the worker.
Exactly. Imagine thousands of iPhones shipped directly, and the moment the employee turns it on, boom, it sets itself up. All the company apps, settings, policies.
Wow, okay. That saves IT a massive headache.
A huge logistical burden.
Yeah.
Gone. It's powered by automated device enrollment.
So IT can push everything out remotely. Apps, settings, security, without touching the phone.
Precisely. It speeds up onboarding like crazy for mobile workers. Apple often points to SAP deploying 30,000 Macs remotely as a kind of parallel example of the scale.
Though maybe not exactly the same, but shows it works big.
Yeah, illustrates the scalability. And the real win. Less IT overhead, faster start for workers.
Which means they're productive sooner.
Right. And that feeds into a lower total cost of ownership for the company.
Okay, deployment makes sense. But what about security? Industrial data is often really sensitive.
Oh, top priority. Absolutely. And iPhones, well, they have a pretty comprehensive security framework built right in.
How comprehensive.
It's layered, starts at the hardware level encryption, biometrics like Touch ID or Face ID.
And the secure enclave. I forgot.
Yep, that's like a protected vault inside the chips, specifically for safeguarding sensitive crypto stuff.
And it goes deeper into the OS itself, right?
It does. You've got things like a signed system volume prevents tampering, gatekeeper and app notarization check where software comes from.
Like a bouncer for apps?
Kind of, yeah. Plus built-in malware protection called XProtect. And File Vault encrypts the whole disk.
Okay, that sounds solid. What about networks?
For network security, they support modern standards WPA3 Enterprise, 802.1x, built-in VPN options too.
VPNs are crucial for remote access.
Definitely. And something called Managed Device Attestation, which is really important for zero-trust security models.
Zero trust. So constantly verifying the device is okay.
Basically, yes. Verifying its integrity before granting access.
It sounds like a very secure base. But how do companies keep it secure over time? With updates and stuff.
That's where Apple's regular software updates come in. They're constantly patching things, adding features.
But updates can sometimes break things, can't they?
Oh.
Especially critical systems.
Exactly. So in industrial settings, companies have to be careful. They need to balance getting the latest security fixes with ensuring stability.
So they test updates first.
Thorough internal testing is usually essential before rolling out a new iOS version to the whole workforce. Can't risk disrupting operations.
Makes total sense. Now, Apple's big on user privacy, right?
Mhm.
How does that square with company-managed phones? Can the company see everything?
That's an important point. Apple's privacy focus means that even with MDM, if it's set up for, say, BYOD using user enrollment,
Bring your own device,
right, the company can't access personal stuff, emails, messages, browsing history.
which is good for employee trust, I
Yeah,
guess.
definitely. But some industries have really strict rules. They might need to log data or monitor usage heavily.
So what then?
In those cases, they typically need to use supervised, fully corporate-owned devices. That gives IT much more control, and clear usage policies are vital.
Got it. So deployment, security, dot check. What about the actual software, the apps these workers use day to day?
Well, the iOS ecosystem is a huge advantage here. The App Store. It's packed with business apps for all sorts of industrial needs.
Off-the-shelf stuff.
Lots of it. But beyond that, Apple gives companies the tools, frameworks, SDKs to build their own custom apps.
Tailor-made solutions?
Exactly. Tailored precisely to their unique operations.
Did you mention an example of that earlier? Hymo Group?
Yes, Hymo Group. They do retail photography, and they built a custom machine learning app using Apple's tools to optimize their workflow.
Okay, so not strictly industrial, but shows the principle.
Right. It shows that potential for in-house innovation. You can apply that same idea to solve very specific industrial challenges.
So businesses can either find an app or build one. That flexibility sounds powerful.
Incredibly versatile.
And how well do these iPhones play with the existing IT systems companies already have? Email, servers.
Seamless integration is key, and iPhones are generally pretty good at this. They have native support for secure Wi-Fi, the built-in VPN we mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
and easy integration with common services like Microsoft Exchange, Microsoft 365, Google Workspace for email, calendars, contacts.
What about cloud storage? Everyone uses Box, Dropbox, OneDrive.
The iOS Files app taps right into those. Box, Dropbox, OneDrive, Google Drive. It makes accessing cloud files easy.
Nice.
Plus, you've got system-wide single sign-on extensions, and managed Apple IDs can link up with the company's existing identity system.
So logging into work stuff is easier and secure.
Exactly. It minimizes disruption, lets companies leverage what they've already invested in IT-wise.
All right, so we've laid the groundwork. Solid enterprise features. Now let's dive into what I think is the really fascinating part. How are these industrial mobile workers actually using the iPhones day to day?
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting. And the sheer diversity of uses is pretty amazing.
I bet.
A major area is just better data capture and getting real-time info right there in the field.
Getting rid of paper forms must be huge.
Oh, absolutely. Apps like Fulcrum GIS or Mobile Worker let people use digital forms for inspections, checklists, surveys,
Customizable forms.
fully customizable fields, and they integrate GPS and GIS, so you can tag the exact location where data is gathered.
Like for mapping assets or doing site checks.
Precisely. That location data is gold for tracking and analysis later on.
What about places with bad signal? Lots of industrial sites are like that.
Crucial point. Many of these apps have really good offline capabilities. Workers collect the data, then it syncs up automatically when they get back online.
That's just
Totally. Plus, you use the built-in camera for photos, videos, audio notes for context. Some apps even use AI for voice data entry.
voice entry, so hands-free.
Yeah, imagine needing your hands for the actual job. Voice entry can be a massive help.
So better accuracy, less paper, real-time sharing.
Hmm.
Sounds like big efficiency wins.
Definitely a formula for gains.
What else? What other info are they accessing?
Technical manuals, schematics, work orders, that's another big one. Platforms like FieldAware let workers pull up project details, safety data sheets, repair guides, right on the phone.
No more lugging around giant binders or trekking back to the office.
Exactly. Picture a technician troubleshooting some complex machine, viewing the circuit diagram right there on their iPhone screen.
That saves so much time.
Dramatically reduces task time, increases first-time fix rates, ensures they follow the right procedures. It boosts productivity and safety.
Okay, communication. That's got to be vital in these places, especially if it's noisy or dangerous.
Vital. And iPhones are becoming these versatile communication hubs. Apps like Zello or Honeywell Smart Talk offer push-to-talk BTT.
Like a walkie-talkie, but over Wi-Fi or cellular.
Pretty much, yeah. A modern, more capable walkie-talkie, unlimited channels, often encrypted for secure chats.
What if you miss something in a noisy place?
Good question. Many have message playback, so you don't miss critical instructions. They often bundle in VoIP calling and secure messaging, too.
So it pulls different communication tools into one device.
Right, which can be more cost-effective than managing separate systems.
That makes sense. Okay, what about when a worker needs help from an expert who's like miles away?
That's where augmented reality AR on the iPhone gets really exciting.
AR, how does that work?
Apple's AR Kit is the base. Then platforms like VSight Remote, Help Lightning, Zoho Lens, they let a remote expert see exactly what the field tech sees through the iPhone camera.
See what I see. That sounds incredibly useful for remote support.
It is. The expert can then draw on the screen, place 3D models onto live video feed, guide the tech step by step.
Like virtual hands-on help.
Kind of, yeah. Think about Volkswagen using AR for engine repairs. It cuts down expert travel, slashes downtime, solves problems faster.
And helps train newer staff, too, I imagine.
Huge for knowledge transfer, democratizes expertise, really.
And you mentioned AI and AR working together in the future.
Exactly. We're moving towards systems that offer even smarter, context-aware help in the field, potentially spotting errors or guiding actions based on the live situation.
Wow. Okay, beyond info access and comms, how about managing the actual work?
Yeah.
Tasks, schedules?
Mobile task management is another key use.
Yeah.
Apps like Workyard or SmartBrew let managers assign jobs, set schedules, provide digital checklists, all on the iPhone.
And worker updates progress in real time.
Yep, real-time updates. Everyone sees who's doing what and how far along they are.
Keeps everyone in the loop.
Precisely. Many also use GPS for automatic time and mileage tracking. Some have geofencing too.
Geofencing, like alerts based on location.
Yeah, trigger alerts or specific app functions when a worker enters or leaves a defined area. Field Aware does work order management, digital sign-offs, things like that.
Sounds like it really streamlines field ops, cuts down admin work.
A lot of it. And you mentioned industry-specific apps earlier.
Yeah, are there examples?
Definitely. The ecosystem's strength is enabling these tailored solutions. In manufacturing, iPhones can hook into MES or ERP systems, shop floor access to schedules, quality data. In logistics, apps like PackageX Warehouse Logistics use OCR, scan multiple barcodes at once.
OCR, reading text from images.
Right, for faster data entry, managing assets, inventory, even handling returns. In energy, apps like True Context help with field data, safety checks.
It really sounds like the iPhone becomes this converged device, replacing lots of separate gadgets.
That's a really crucial takeaway. Instead of carrying a GPS, a camera, a scanner, a radio, a notepad.
One device does it all, or tries to.
Often, yes. Reduces the load on the worker and saves the company money on buying and managing all that separate gear.
Okay, let's talk safety. Obviously huge in industrial settings. How are iPhones helping there?
Playing an increasingly critical role, actually, both for individual worker safety and for regulatory compliance.
Especially for lone workers, right? People working by themselves.
Exactly. Lone workers, often in remote or hazardous spots, there are specialized apps. Worker Safety Pro, Solo Protect, Get Home Safe, OK Alone.
What do they do?
They use the iPhone's sensors, GPS, accelerometer, and its connection. They have features like timed check-ins, panic buttons, even fall detection.
Fall detection, like the Apple Watch.
Similar idea, yeah. Supervisors get real-time location data. Some apps integrate directly with the Apple Watch for easier alerts.
Discrete alerts, maybe?
Could be. And duress or silent alerts if someone's in trouble but can't speak.
That real-time monitoring, the quick alerts, that could genuinely save lives.
Absolutely. Enhances monitoring, speeds up emergency response, and gives you data for investigating incidents later.
What about getting urgent safety info out to lots of people quickly, like across a whole site?
Enterprise alert systems do that. Disk alerts, HyperReach, they push notifications, safety instructions, updates straight to iPhones.
How, like pop-ups?
Pop-ups, SMS, app notifications, multiple channels. They often have preset message templates, one-click panic buttons for speed.
Makes sense in a crisis.
And geo-targeting, so only people in the affected area get the alert. Plus, iPhones have the native wireless emergency alert system built in.
And you mentioned linking with IoT sensors before. For automated alerts?
Yeah, imagine a gas leak sensor automatically triggering an alert to the control room and nearby workers via their phones. Faster response.
Okay, what about tracking safety incidents? Reporting near misses, injuries, compliance stuff like OSHA?
There are apps for that too. Safety reports inspection, vector EHS management. Workers report incidents right from their phone.
With details, photos?
Exactly. Capture details, causes, attach photos or videos. These apps often generate OSHA-compliant reports, Form 300, 300A, 301.
Streamlines the paperwork.
Massively. And they often tie into broader EHS platforms, helping companies manage overall safety compliance and avoid fines.
It really feels like the iPhone's becoming a core safety tool.
Mhm.
And you stressed offline capability earlier. That applies here too.
Absolutely vital. Across almost all these use cases, industrial sites often have spotty connectivity. Apps must work offline reliably, collect data, perform tasks, then sync later. It's non-negotiable for practicality in many places.
Okay, so the iPhone itself is powerful, versatile,
Mm.
clearly not built for, say, being dropped onto concrete or dunked in oil.
Not right out of the box, no. That's where ruggedization and physical protection become absolutely crucial.
So rugged cases are the first step.
Usually the first line of defense, yeah. Cases engineered to handle drops, shocks, vibrations. Many are tested against military standards like MIL STD-810G.
We've all seen those chunky cases. Any specific examples that are popular in industry?
Sure, Rockform is known for strong magnetic mounting and good drop protection, popular in construction. Otterbock's Frey series often goes beyond the military specs and adds IP68 water dust proofing.
IP68. It's pretty high protection.
Very high, yeah. Dust tight, can handle water immersion. Element Case Black Ops uses multiple layers for shock absorption. Juggernaut Case has a unique top-loading design, often seen in military use.
Others too?
Yeah, Caseborne Ghost Deck Nautical, that one's also fully enclosed with IP68. Lots of options, depending on the need.
So a good case is step one. What about the screen? That always feels like the weak spot.
Absolutely. Industrial-grade screen protectors are essential, prevent scratches, impacts. Urban Armor Gear UAG makes ones with high hardness ratings, 9H.
9H. That's tough.
Very scratch resistant, yeah. They often have oleophobic coatings too to resist oil and fingerprints.
Keep it usable.
Exactly. UAG even has a workflow line with extra shock resistance, antimicrobial properties, and they can handle medical grade wipes.
Antimicrobial for clean environments.
More healthcare settings, yeah. Belkin's Invisiglass is another option. Uses special tech for strength. Some even use recycled glass.
So protect the screen, keep it clean and usable. What about serious water and dust, like constant exposure?
That's where you need those fully waterproof, dust-proof enclosures with clear IP ratings.
Ingress protection.
Right. Tells you exactly how well it resists solids and liquids. IP68, like on the Ghost Deck Nautical or Otterbox Fro, means dust tight, survives immersion. Crucial for outdoor work, dusty factories, wet areas.
Pelican cases are super tough too, right?
They are, but often more for transport than continuous in-hand use. They're bulky.
Okay, drops, scratches, water, dust, covered. What about the really risky places? Explosive atmospheres?
Hazardous locations, that's a whole different ballgame. Flammable gases, vapors, combustible dust.
Standard electronics are a no-go. Ignition risk.
Huge ignition risk. You absolutely must use intrinsically safe IS equipment there.
Intrinsically safe.
Specially designed gear that limits electrical and thermal energy so it physically cannot cause a spark or get hot enough to ignite the atmosphere.
So a normal rugged case isn't enough. You need a special IS case.
Absolutely. And it has to be certified to strict standards like ATEX in Europe or ISEX internationally. It's a legal requirement.
Are there IS cases for iPhones?
Yes, there are. Companies like Xseal make certified IS cases for iPhones, allowing them to be used safely in specific hazardous zones like Zone 1 or Zone 2.
So even iPhones can go into these really dangerous areas with the right case.
With the right certified case, yes. These cases are heavily engineered, explosion-proof, often with high IP ratings too, while some companies like Ecom, Bartek, i.Safe Mobile focus more on IS Android devices.
The fact that IS iPhone cases exist.
It shows the appeal of iOS, even in these extreme environments. But you must verify the certification matches the specific hazardous zone. No shortcuts.
It sounds like a lot of protective options exist, but there have to be downsides, right? All that bulk.
Definitely trade-offs. Ruggedization adds bulk, weight, can affect ergonomics, how easy it is to handle.
So you need to test it.
Pilot testing with the actual workers is crucial. Make sure the protection doesn't actually make the job harder or less productive.
Okay, so you've got the protected phone. But what about adding functionality, making it better for specific tasks, peripherals, and accessories?
Precisely. That's the next layer. And data capture attachments are a big one.
Like barcode scanners.
Oh.
Better than just using the camera.
Much better for high-volume scanning, yeah.
Okay.
Faster, more reliable, especially in tough lighting or with damaged codes. Dedicated scanners are the way to go in warehouses, logistics.
What forms do they take?
You see sleds cases the iPhone docks into. Or grip-style attachments, like a pistol grip for easier handheld scanning.
Any specific examples?
Socket Mobile's Extreme Scan Grip XG930 is a popular rugged one. Laser scanner, good range, scans through plastic, IP67 rated.
IP67, also very resistant.
Yeah, dust tight and water resistant. Replaceable battery, can even charge the iPhone it's attached to. Linea Pro also makes very durable scan cases, 1D, 2D. Some use Zebra engines for really long range, often meet MIL STD specs too.
So faster, tougher scanning. What about beyond barcodes, like RFID?
Yep, for non-line of sight stuff. Asset tracking, inventory where you can't easily see every tag.
Yeah.
Some Linea Pro cases have optional RFID built in, HF or UHF.
For separate readers?
You can get Bluetooth handheld RFID readers too, sometimes with special mounts to attach them securely to the iPhone setup. Brady, Alice RFID Store are players there.
Okay, barcodes, RFID. Any other specialized sensors?
Thermal imaging is becoming more accessible. Great for predictive maintenance, spotting heat anomalies in electrical panels, machinery.
How does that attach?
Compact cameras that plug into the Lightning or USB-C port. FLIR 1 Pro is well known. Topdon TC002 is another option for iOS. They give field techs thermal vision.
It could prevent failures, save money.
Big potential for that.
Now, back to noisy places. We talked communication apps, but what about hardware? Headsets.
Absolutely essential. Industrial noise-canceling headsets. They protect hearing and allow clear communication.
Not just regular Bose headphones.
No, these are different. Rugged, certified hearing protection NRR ratings. Sena Tough Talk does Bluetooth intercom for Teams, noise control, glove-friendly buttons.
In our noise reduction rating.
Yes, indicates the level of hearing protection. 3M Peltor WS ProTac XPI is another popular one. High NRR, Bluetooth, noise-canceling mic, options for PTT buttons. Critical gear in loud environments.
Safe and effective comms.
Yep.
Got it. And keeping these things powered all day. Long shifts, maybe no charging points.
Power management is key. Ruggedized battery cases are one answer, like the UAG Rugged Workflow case. Extends battery life, adds protection.
Hot swappable batteries.
Some have that, yeah, like the UAG one. Swap batteries without powering down. Keeps things running 247 if needed.
Or just power banks.
Industrial-grade power banks. More durable, high capacity, often weather-resistant themselves. Goal Zero Venture Series, for example, is IP67 rated. Need reliable power in the field.
Makes sense. And lastly, mounting. In vehicles, on forklifts, machinery, needs to be secure.
Totally. Secure mounting for hands-free use, keeping it safe in vibrating environments. Quadlock has industrial-strength suction cups, adhesive mounts.
Need special cases for those mounts.
Often, yeah, proprietary locking cases. ProClip USA does custom vehicle mounts, plus rugged ones for forklifts, warehouses. iBolt has a huge range, drill bases, clamps, pole mounts.
So options for almost any situation.
Pretty much. Need something sturdy that holds the device securely, resists vibration, and allows safe interaction.
Yeah.
And the mount itself has to be tough enough for the environment.
Okay, so we've seen how to protect the iPhone, how to enhance it with peripherals. Now, the big picture strategy. When a company weighs this approach, what are the crucial factors?
Top of the list is usually total cost of ownership, TCO.
Right, not just the purchase price.
Far from it. It's the whole lifecycle cost iPhone plus rugged case plus accessories compared to a purpose-built rugged device.
And it's not obvious which is cheaper, is it?
Not at all. Some research, like from VDC, suggests unprotected consumer devices can actually cost more per year because they break more often, downtime, repairs.
It adds up fast.
Double the TCO, potentially.
Wow. That's what some studies indicated, but the Apple ecosystem have TCO advantages too.
Like what people already know iOS, so faster adoption, less training maybe. The App Store might offer lower software costs sometimes. Streamlined management with ABM MDM.
So swings and roundabouts.
Exactly. We've seen examples. Hymo Group, Inter, reporting lower TCO with Apple platforms in their specific contexts. It depends heavily on the use case, the environment, the support structure.
So you need a really thorough analysis.
Holistic TCO. Hardware, ruggedization, repairs, productivity impact, software, IT management, deployment speed, all of it. Plus, carrier subsidies on rugged phones can also influence the math.
What about repairs? When an iPhone breaks in the field, is it easy to fix compared to those dedicated rugged devices?
That's a key lifecycle management point. iPhones are complex, tightly integrated, not really designed for easy field repair, especially now with parts being serialized to specific devices.
Component serialization makes independent repair harder.
Much harder. Contrast that with some purpose-built rugged devices which are more modular. Field repairs might be more feasible.
So what's the strategy for broken iPhones in industry?
Often it's a swap stock approach. Keep a pool of spare, pre-configured devices ready, workers' phone breaks. Swap it out immediately, send the broken one for repair or replacement.
Which means managing that spare inventory.
Exactly. Logistics, inventory management adds complexity. And for those IS devices in hazardous areas, strict protocols, damaged IS cases mean the phone can't be used there. Charging needs certified gear, regular checks, audits, maybe recertification are needed.
Okay, beyond hardware, other potential challenges companies need to think about.
Security policies are huge. BYOD versus corporate owned. Apple's user enrollment for BYOD separates work personal data but limits IT control. Corporate owned allows stricter MDM.
Need clear rules either way.
Absolutely. Prevent data leaks, unauthorized access, malware. Then there's productivity. iPhones are consumer devices. Distractions are possible.
Social media, games.
Right. MDM can restrict non-work apps on company phones, but you also need a culture of accountability, clear guidelines on usage.
Network issues. Lots of iPhones. Data-heavy apps like AR.
Constrain Wi-Fi, definitely. And coverage can be patchy in big industrial sites or outdoors. Need to assess network capacity, potentially upgrade.
Which again highlights why offline apps are critical.
Crucial mitigation strategy.
Oh.
And finally, sustainability. Electronics have an environmental footprint: materials, energy, e-waste.
What can companies do?
Look at Apple's own commitments to renewables, recycled materials, but also maximize device lifespan, consider refurbished options, use responsible recycling programs, choose sustainable accessories like Belkin's recycled glass protectors.
So it really sounds like MDM and a solid security strategy are the absolute foundation for making this work.
Absolutely essential. It's the framework for managing the fleet, enforcing security, ensuring compliance, mitigating risks, and ultimately getting the benefits. Transforms the iPhone into a proper industrial tool.
Okay, we've covered the theory, the tools. Let's make it real. Can you give us some concrete examples, iPhones in action across different sectors?
Sure. Manufacturing is a good place to start. We're seeing iPhones used for accessing real-time data from MESRP systems right on the floor.
Production schedules, quality data.
Exactly. Digital work instructions, quality control checks using the camera, even AR for assembly or maintenance guidance.
Specific companies.
Fulton Hogan, big infrastructure company, uses custom iOS apps in their asphalt plants. Optimizing delivery, controlling temperature, tracing materials, quality control is key there.
Like a manufacturing process.
Very much so. And remember, Hymo Group, using Macs for workflow optimization. Similar principles apply to custom iPhone apps for mobile quality checks or process monitoring in factories.
Okay. What about logistics and warehousing?
Yes.
Speed and accuracy are everything there.
Huge area for iPhone use. Inventory management, order picking, proof of delivery scanning, asset tracking.
Using those scanner attachments we talked about.
Often, yes. Or apps like PackageX Warehouse Logistics that use the camera cleverly with OCR and multi-barcode scanning. Streamlines everything from receiving to shipping, even returns.
Any big names?
United Airlines uses iPhones and iPads extensively across many roles. And Stratix, the mobile services company, saw huge gains using iPhone Pro Max with Scanit software for their own internal logistics.
What kind of gains?
50% efficiency boost, 50-60% fewer errors, lower TCO, faster onboarding, real-time inventory, urgent shipment alerts, really impressive results. AJ Logistics lets foremen order materials, check stock from job sites using iPhones.
Those are powerful examples. What about rugged, remote places like the energy sector?
Oil and gas, utilities. iPhones are used for field data capture, pipeline inspections, substation checks, asset management, remote monitoring, safety compliance, lone worker safety.
And those intrinsically safe cases are critical here.
Absolutely essential in hazardous zones. Fulton Hogan, again, using custom iOS apps for safety reporting, logging leaky valves, managing equipment maintenance, saves money, improves safety.
Specific apps used.
Specialized apps like True Context for data collection, various lone worker safety apps we mentioned earlier, AR for remote expert help, and Apple's sustainability push resonates in the energy sector too.
Okay, one more: field service technicians. Plumbers, electricians, HVAC repair.
Big use case. Managing work orders, schedules, customer history, accessing manuals, checking parts availability, taking mobile payments, getting digital signatures.
All on the iPhone.
Yep. Platforms like Mobile Reach let companies build configurable field service apps online, offline, integrating scanning, connecting to back-end systems like ServiceNow, Oracle, SAP.
And you mentioned drawing parallels with healthcare.
Yeah, healthcare uses iPhones for secure communication, alerts, barcode scanning for medication admin, mobile charting. Many of those functions, secure comms, alerts, verification scanning, mobile data entry, translate directly to industrial field service needs.
So a recurring theme seems to be the importance of custom apps or highly configurable software platforms.
That's a crucial insight, yes. It's often not just the iPhone itself, but the software tailored to the specific industrial workflow that delivers the biggest impact. Fulton Hogan, HIMO, Stratix, Mobile Reach, they all rely on specialized software.
And the other big theme is data.
Absolutely. Using the iPhone to capture real-time data, barcode scans, job logs, inspection forms, and feeding that into the bigger enterprise systems enables much smarter data-driven decisions.
And this isn't just for giant corporations.
Not necessarily. While the case studies often feature big names, the tech and app solutions are often scalable. Small and medium industrial businesses can definitely benefit too.
So wrapping this up then, overall viability of the iPhone as a serious industrial tool, what's the verdict?
I'd say it's surprisingly viable, even effective. But it requires careful planning, the right support systems, the right protection.
It's not just handing out phones.
Definitely not. But its powerful OS, the huge app ecosystem, the security, the management tools, when you combine that with the right ruggedization and peripherals, it's a versatile tool. It can consolidate other devices, enable really tailored solutions, and drive real gains in efficiency, safety, productivity.
And the absolute must-haves for success if a company's thinking about this.
Okay, key factors. 1, really understand your specific needs. Thorough assessment. 2, choose the right ruggedization and peripherals for the job. 3, build a robust MDM and security framework from day one. That's non-negotiable.
Yeah, nice.
4, invest in the right software, especially ensuring it works offline if needed. 5, train your users properly. 6, have a solid support plan ready. Success is about integrating it into the whole ecosystem, not just the device itself.
Looking at what's next for iPhones in industry.
I think their role will only grow. Think about AI and machine learning becoming more capable on device, AR getting better, 5G making connections faster and more reliable, even the Apple Watch for hands-free interaction and safety.
More intelligent assistants, better remote collaboration.
Exactly. More sophisticated safety monitoring, the potential is huge.
Any final strategic tips for listeners considering this?
Yeah, 3 things. First, start small. Pilot programs. Test specific, high-impact use cases first. Learn, refine, then scale up. Stratix's internal project is a good model.
Don't try to boil the ocean.
Precisely. Second, build that comprehensive TCO model. Really compare all the costs and benefits, direct and indirect, against purpose-built devices. Be honest about it.
And third,
and I'll say it again, invest in a strong, scalable MDM and security framework right at the start. It's foundational for management, security, compliance, and future growth. Don't skimp on it.
so this everyday consumer device really is kind of at the forefront of a surprising industrial revolution, putting powerful, familiar tech into the hands of frontline workers.
It really is reshaping how work gets done in some unexpected places.
Makes you wonder what other ordinary tech might have untapped potential in specialized fields, doesn't it? Fascinating stuff. Thanks so much for digging into this with us.